What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. Got a little tidbit of news and information for you guys to check out, and this is specifically in regards to our next structure deck that's going to be released. It looks like we are going to be getting a structure deck based on 2009's Warrior Strike structure deck, which is actually pretty interesting. And number one, I think that it's a little bit surprising that it appears Konami is going to skip over the Samorg structure deck completely. A lot of people have pointed out that maybe this was kind of an obvious tell when Konami revealed the Samorg cards in the Rising Rampage booster set. Maybe, Konami felt like, hey, we don't really need to revisit the Samorg structure deck if we're giving you guys a bunch of Samorg cards in Rising Rampage. So maybe Konami will go back to that structure deck, but if they are going to give us a bunch of new cards, I kind of doubt it. Maybe they'll just focus on that. And then the other thing is, and this is what I think is really interesting, I personally like this pick for them to kind of make a new version of Warrior Strike. I always thought that even though Warrior Strike was, like a lot of these structure decks, if you guys don't know, during 5Ds and during GX specifically, they were not very good. They made almost no impact on the meta, but this structure deck in particular, obviously it focused on warriors, and we got a bunch of like warrior support. You can see that warriors in the name of the structure deck. But another thing that was cool about the Warrior Strike structure deck is it focused on the Gemini mechanic. And basically we got like some Gemini monsters in here that were really cool. Now as the 5Ds era went on, Konami gave us more support for Geminis, but Geminis have been kind of like really underdeveloped as I guess a little bit of like a sub mechanic, or a mechanic if you want to call it that. They've been very underdeveloped, very similar to like Spirits, and back in 5Ds they did actually see competitive success on the regional level. People basically played kind of like hero beat dot decks where they would run Gemini monsters like Neos Alias and Crusader of Endymion, and they would combine it with this card, Gemini Spark. This card was so good during 5Ds. You'd summon like Neos Alias, which of course you'd search off Stratos for, free +1. If your opponent used Bottomless Trap Hole, or they use something like maybe Dimensional Prison on your attack, you could just like use Gemini Spark, tribute your monster, and then pop one of their other cards and then draw a card. So basically you'd go like +1. But really when you think about it, like Geminis just don't have that many amazing cards. And it's kind of interesting because you guys know a lot of the structure deck, like a lot of the structure deck boss monsters from DM and GX and 5D, they were like completely unplayable. This one wasn't unplayable. It was difficult to summon, which I know that kind of sounds like all the boss monsters from the structure deck, but if you could get this guy on field, it did actually have a Monster Reborn type effect that was built into it. That was a quick effect, and then it had built-in negation too, so that's actually pretty damn good. I think that if we would have had something like Catalyst Field back in the day, like, yeah, it actually could have seen some play. But when you really think about it, the Gemini mechanic is still just really underdeveloped. I think Konami, they tried with Kimmy Critters and Invasion Vengeance, but that just honestly wasn't enough. Although I will say that Catalyst Field has always been an amazing card for Geminis. It's just Kimmy Critters were trash. So, even though they had like this amazing field spell, it really wasn't going to do much for the type. In my opinion, what I think Konami should do, and obviously they'll give us new warrior cards. I'm not really that excited about new warrior support. I don't really care about that, but I'm super excited about getting new Gemini stuff. Now obviously if Konami gives us some good new Gemini monsters, I'm not going to complain about that, but I kind of feel like Konami should just focus on giving us some really good spells and traps, some ones that are obviously exclusive to Gemini monsters, because if you look throughout Yu-Gi-Oh history, there are some good Gemini spells and traps. Things like Gemini Spark, Catalyst Field, as I mentioned before, is absolutely fantastic. Supervise has always been really good with like Gigaplant and stuff like that. It's a very solid card. The problem is it seems like they give us these cards one every 2-3 years, and it's like you really can't expect the mechanic to go anywhere when you only give it like one good card every 3 years. I would love to see a new Gemini or a new Gemini archetype, maybe something a little better than Kimmy Critters, but I guess we'll know in time what exactly Konami is going to do with this. Again, I'm hoping for some good Gemini support. Hopefully the new Warrior support will be good as well. Probably won't get a reprint of Divine Phoenix Blade because That card is banned in the OCG, so I seriously doubt Konami will focus on that. But what are you guys' thoughts on Konami kind of re-upping or remaking the Warrior Strike structure deck? And I guess at this point, skipping over Samorg. I think it's a really interesting pick. And again, I do like this idea because we're not just getting new Warrior support, but we're getting new Gemini support as well. And Lord knows Geminis need all the support they can get. Anyways, leave it in the comment section below, whatever you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.